It's becoming unaffordable for many people to pay for their own living costs, to even buy food at the grocery store, rent a place to live, buy a place to live, have a family, have kids. And that's why so many millennials, such as myself, they're looking to quit the rat race for their freedom. And in this video, we'll learn why that is and the type of pursuits you could consider if you want to also quit the rat race. So many millennials now, they're looking to quit their job or take a slightly easier job and escaping the rat race. So here's a good lesson we can learn from top banks here, right? In this case, we have Citi and Deutsche Bank, right? And in this example, we have a very clear headline that states the reality: boomers make millions and millennials don't, right? So let's learn a bit from this article. Now, without going through all the details, it's essentially mentioning that top banks like Citi and Deutsche Bank, what they do, they of course are looking to hire more people, even though we have a recession, even though we have difficult financial times. They're always looking to hire new people to work for them, right? They're not going to go out and hire loads and loads of people, as they mention here. They'll be strategic about it. But there's a key phrase here I want to point out. Hiring while firing is always going to happen. Now, there's an interesting phrase I want to point out right here. It says hiring while firing is always going to happen. Now, what is it trying to say here? It's trying to say that, listen, you could be working for a company, doing a great job, but if they want to hire someone because they prefer someone else's personality, or they're a manager's favorite friend from another bank and they want to replace you, they can. See, even though they're going through difficult times, they're going to be hiring new talent and maybe getting rid of old talent, doing hiring while firing. And that's just the way they're going to treat it. They're going to treat you like a second-class citizen. Even if you're working hard, you're putting in extra time, you're doing a great job, you're a key contact on certain finance projects, you're coming in early, leaving late, working on the weekend, whatever, doing all this extra work, they're still going to treat you as a second-class citizen. They're still going to engage in hiring while firing. Rather than keep the good talent they have and maybe put you in a slightly different role because the business demands changed, they might just hire someone who they think is a better fit externally. And the point here is the company isn't loyal to you, so why should you be loyal to the company? Now, that's a difficult scenario to accept sometimes because you think people will be good-natured because you're good-natured. You're being loyal to the company, so you'd expect the company to be loyal to you, but that's not always the case, as we can see here. Now, in this example, in this further article here, we can see why people are preferring the soft life. And what do we mean by soft life? It means that many millennials are realizing that it's very unrealistic to be loyal to a company, to expect yourself to achieve good financial wealth based on how rigged the system is. It talks about how ambition once came with a promise, a home, a salary, progress and fulfillment, but these are all kind of broken due to consumerism, materialism, burnout, corporatism, companies exploiting their employees, the economic financial manipulation of central banks printing money. All these things have made financial well-being very difficult. Then you have the high living costs, the high cost of decent, normal quality food because of inflation. You have the breakdown of gender relations between men and women. So people are thinking, wait, why am I participating in the system? What exactly am I getting out of it? And people are getting very little out of the current system that they're paying high tax rates for, high living costs for. And many millennials are kind of dropping out, right? So we've got a few reasons why there. And if we keep going through this article in a bit more detail, it gives a good example here of Rose Gardner. She's someone who studied hard and got top grades. She went to a top university, as it mentions here. She did a master's. She got a job working in publishing and she climbed the corporate ladder. But it kind of didn't pay off for her, right? So she's doing all the right things, but it's not really paying off for her. So she kind of gave up. She looked at her living costs, the living cost for her flat, which she mentions here, her mortgage, other living costs, the strict 9 to 5. It's not really flexible working. She has to be in the office. She has to pay for the train cost, the transport cost to go into the office when she could work from home, given it's a kind of laptop job. These are all realities that people have to deal with that just make, participating in this society very taxing on people, right? And it talks here where people are struggling to buy a home, retire at a reasonable age, and things like that. And this kind of attitude is galvanizing with many millennials, Gen Zs. They're thinking, why am I participating in the system? Why am I working for a system that's not paying well, when there's not really any financial growth, right, or much salary growth compared to inflation? So if we, they have a lot of this corporate wording that is become popular to encourage women to work in the workplace, which would be girl boss, leaning in, that famous book by Sheryl Sandberg, the Facebook COO, which is pushing women into the workplace to focus on their career, not having a family, not saving and investing and being part of a long-term marriage and family and having kids. So this isn't really becoming economically viable for lots of women and lots of people in general who are in the millennial generation. I go through several other examples, which we won't go through here. But, I think it's worthwhile pointing out what would be considered in the past more of an alternative lifestyle. People maybe living off-grid, growing their own food, maybe earning a little bit of money, becoming a local teacher, a local tutor, maybe exchanging their foods and crops from their small farm, their small backyard farm, with family members, with neighbors, in exchange for other goods and services, kind of a barter system. Some people work in unconventional jobs, maybe a yoga teacher, maybe doing some kind of mental health therapy work. Kind of alternative lifestyles, alternative jobs are going to become more popular because people are getting fed up of working corporate jobs and they're not paying well and not giving them a lifestyle that they want to live, right? They've got to be in the office all the time. There's maybe not flexible work where they can work from home. Maybe where they work, the office is in an expensive area. They have to rent a very expensive apartment. They can't buy a house. Maybe they have to live in a small apartment. Breakdown of gender relations. They can't find a partner. There's lots of reasons why society is completely breaking apart in the West, mainly due to liberalism, feminism, and to a certain extent, issues with mass migration, high tax rate, corporatism, things like that. Never-ending lies about pretty much every topic from the media, the fake news, due to, who really runs things in the West, which we are not allowed to really discuss on YouTube. But, all these levels of manipulation have really broken society. It's one thing to have a broken economy, but you have a broken economy, broken gender relations, you have a broken society, a lack of family structure, lack of children learning the correct things in schools because it's indoctrination camps. You have a completely broken society in the West, right? So I would recommend to you, even though I'm a career coach, I've worked at Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and HSBC in sales and trading, in investment banking, asset management, other departments. Focus on what's in your best interest. I wouldn't recommend you, even though I've been a director at Morgan Stanley, I wouldn't recommend you climb the corporate ladder because there's very few high-paying jobs at the top of that. Unless you're really, highly favored and one of the popular favorite ones from senior management. Focus on saving your money, investing your money, pursuing alternative lifestyles, maybe having multiple income sources so you can balance your career, maybe a job you don't particularly like, for example, accounting, where maybe it pays well, it's a sustainable job, with other interests and hobbies you have that can make money. Maybe you're a full-time accountant and on the weekends you provide mental health therapy for other people. You're a yoga teacher, a personal trainer. Maybe you do accounting in a part-time contract role 2 or 3 days a week. You don't enjoy it, but it does pay well and it does give you the ability to live in an expensive city like London. And then you can spend maybe some of those extra days, because you're only working 2 to 3 days a week, doing what you want, resting, relaxing, saving your money, spending time in nature, because this society is dysfunctional and it's not giving you a reasonable path to have a higher salary, have a family, buy a house, be in a healthy relationship, have kids, and have your kids not be brainwashed by this system, which is pushing all types of satanic agendas on them, essentially, right? So really think about the alternative opportunities for yourself. I do not blame or shame or criticize any millennial who wants to break free from the rat race, and I myself as a career coach am happy to help you find alternative solutions to give you that freedom, that financial freedom, the time freedom that you're looking for. So feel free to reach out to me. I've seen the best and the worst of it working at some of these top banks. The highest level of corporate success, the highest level of people becoming wealthy enough to leave that environment, or putting one foot in and one foot out and trying to do a bit of the both. So feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you. There you go. In this video you saw a few examples of people who are quitting the rat race. It was a bit more focused on women in those last few examples. So it's something for you to consider, right? Like if you're looking realistically at your future income and salary raises throughout the career path you might have picked, you might think, okay, well, I'll get a 5 or 10 grand salary increase over the next few years, but is that really going to give you the leverage you want and the freedom you want to maybe work from home, buy a house? You might need to consider alternative opportunities. And as a career coach myself, this is something I help with. If you're looking for a remote job, you're looking for a more easier 9 to 5 type of job, maybe some more work from home, while being in the office sometimes, working in a lower cost of living area. These are all things we can consider in a consultation where I could help you with your career. My contact details are in the description. There are 2 recommended videos on your screen right now, a free ebook also in the description, and I'll see you next time.